Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Love Notes from Laya, a podcast where I share heartfelt notes from my heart to yours. And every time they will look a bit different. Sometimes they're little pep talks and things that really poured out of me. Other times they're going to be a bit more sciencey and things that I've been working on that I just really feel called to share with you. Each time they'll take a different form of their own, but the ultimate thing that ties them together is that they're all coming from me and my heart to yours and your heart. And I hope they inspire you in any way, shape, or form. And today I wanted to talk about something deeply important and vital to me in my life, and that is the power of our brain. This is something that I have so deeply spent so many years trying to understand and study and also just experience in a lived experience way, not just in this deeply academic, papery way, but actually live and feel how we can use our brain and unlock our brain as a tool to really help us step into and grow into the best version of ourselves and what that really looks like. I deeply, deeply believe in the intrinsic power of our brain to helping us live the life of our dreams. It's just about understanding how we can unlock those little things, those moments, those powers, those thought processes to rewire old beliefs, things that we want to let go of, and bring in things that make us really feel expansive, in tune with ourselves, in tune with the world around us, and empowered in who we are and the way in which we live our life. So, yeah. Before we start, I don't just want to tell you about the power of our brain, I also want you to experience it. So we're going to do a very short exercise for 30 seconds. I'm just going to invite you to wherever you are, just gently find a comfortable seat. And if you are capable of, close your eyes. If you're driving or cycling, just keep your eyes open and just try to think through the things that I'm saying. Please stay safe out there. But if you are able of taking a seated position and just closing your eyes, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And in and out. And as you take a moment to connect with your breath, I'm going to invite you to bring into your mind's eye a person that you feel deeply grateful for. This could be a friend, a lover, a partner, a parent or a kid, someone in our life that we feel deeply grateful for, that we're so glad is there, that supports us. Maybe you want to picture their voice, maybe you hear them saying something or laughing, or you just visualize them standing in front of you. And just tap deeply into that feeling of gratitude, of appreciation for them. Maybe you even want to thank them for being in your life. Give them a hug. Just bow down. Say thank you. Be grateful. Spend those last few moments in that state of gratitude, thinking of this person that you feel deeply grateful for. And when you are ready, start to look around again. Come back to this space and this moment. Maybe as you look around, you notice that The lens through which you're looking at things is deeply changed. Maybe you look at things from more gratitude. Maybe you're smiling, whether externally or just that internal smile. Notice the way that just spending a few moments cultivating gratitude changed the way that you move and exist and are. You supported your brain in shifting your reality. Now, studies show that even just a simple gratitude practice can lower our heart rate. It can increase our emotional regulation. And it also activates these motivation parts of our brain, these areas of the brain that have to do with our motivation. So this shows that these little practices, even though they may seem small, can actually have such an impact on our own bodies, our physiological bodies, our brains, the things that we're creating capacity for, and how we show up, the way in which we are. So use this as a little reminder of the power that our brain holds. When we take the time and the effort and the autonomy to really take ownership over our own brains, we can really change our life and the way in which we see life generally. So this is the power of our brain, and it really creates this whole space and opportunity for us to recreate a reality in a way that we want to. So if we want to create a reality that feels deeply grateful, that feels full of love, that feels expansive, that allows for growth and change and opportunity, that looks for opportunity, we will start to find more opportunity and love and gratitude. And if, on the contrary, we feel maybe sometimes stuck in those negative loops, or we're just constantly looking for problems and finding problems, our brain is going to be attaching those and creating that, making that our own reality. So, yeah. To deeply understand a bit of how we can change our brains to change our life, I want you to think of the brain as a machine. So we have this beautiful, beautiful brain inside of us. And what it's doing is it's computing all of these different messages inside, and it's deriving meaning from different messages it's receiving. These messengers are the neurons that are in our brain that are firing and telling and sending different messages to different parts of our brain based off of what we're seeing, what we're doing, what we're thinking. We're sending ourselves these messages. And when we learn, when we are making space for learning, we're building new roads and connections. Maybe if it's something that we've already spent a lot of time learning, we are making that road not just a gravel road, but we are paving it, and we're making it a highway, somewhere where many cars can go, and it can be deeply well made. Versus maybe if we're starting to learn something new, it's still a bit of like that gravel road where we can go down, but gotta still make the path as we do it. So as we learn and we create these new roads between, these different messengers, these different neurons, we help create our reality within this machine. If you're a coder, maybe someone deep into IT and computers and all that, you'll understand the kind of coding complex. Like here, we're creating our own code for our own life and the way in which we see our life. And when we create these new pathways, what we're doing is we're really diving into this whole world that we call neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is when we can actually create these different pathways and change pathways. Our brain is malleable and it's adaptable. It's not just set in stone. We actually have the capacity to change pathways, to create new ones, to modify and to adapt. And a lot of this comes with practice, as a machine works with repetition. So the more that we do something, the stronger it will become. And we need to really create that practice, to create these roots, but we have the capacity to really change and create our own reality. And this is all based off of Hebb's law, which shows that neurons that fire together wire together. So if we start firing those gratitude neurons inside of us, the more that we practice those, the more automatically they will become. We'll wire that whenever I sit at this chair, whenever I have yellow flowers, whenever I sit in front of my microphone in a podcast, I'm going to feel gratitude, because what am I doing? I'm practicing it in this moment. Whenever I see that person that I envisioned in that short visualization where I gave gratitude to someone in my life, I'm going to see them and I'm going to think of gratitude. Next time I look around my room, I'm going to think about that exercise again. Hello, more gratitude. And gratitude is just an example out of any of the feelings, emotions, sensations that you want to bring deeper and more into your life. It's just about creating this very conscious effort to say, I want to make this a part of my lived experience. And I'm going to wire this into my brain. I'm going to create these pathways for me to show up and to exist in a reality that feels good to me and that feels expansive. Not that it's going to be easy, but it's possible through repetition and through practice. I love the analogy of the brain as a muscle as well, because so many of us go to the gym to train our muscles. I'm, now going to the gym. I feel quite sore today. My shoulders, my legs. Like, I went to the gym yesterday and I worked on my biceps, my triceps, my shoulders, my legs, my quads. Like, I worked those parts of my body to help me get stronger. I want to feel that strength inside of me because that makes me feel good, right? When I feel strong, I feel empowered in myself. I feel confident in who I am and the way in which I'm moving. I look in a mirror and I like what I see. I love that feeling of really being able to work on my own body. And I see changes when I go to the gym consistently and I'm consistently working on my, let's take biceps, for example. If I'm continuously, working my bicep and doing different exercises to really help it grow and it will eventually become very, very, very strong. We need to go to the gym. If I just stay at home all day on my couch, my bicep isn't going to grow. It's not going to get any stronger. It requires that practice and that discipline to really make it have that strength. And our brain is the same way. We need to practice it. We need to create this muscle gym sensation for ourselves. This is why, for example, I love the practice of mindfulness or meditation, because it feels a bit like going to the gym for my own brain. Even just doing like practices of gratitude or just shifting our mental mindset. If I take 5 minutes out of my day to try to look for opportunities, my brain is much more likely to start to look for opportunities, right? So many of us are wired to just look for obstacles, but what happens if we start to get into the practice of looking for opportunities instead? What do we want to practice? Looking for obstacles, looking for opportunities. Do we want to be looking for problems, or do we want to be looking for solutions? So we have the power to practice that which we want. And it does require practice, right? Same way going to the gym. Like if we want to go to work on our muscles and we're going to the gym, getting out of the house is the hardest thing because, yeah, it's comfortable on the couch. It's comfortable laying in bed and chilling. We have to actually get ourselves out there. And that is the hardest part of working out, I think, is actually getting out of the door. And when it comes to these mental exercises, the hardest part is just sitting down and doing them. And because so many of us haven't been taught how to do these, we don't really have the infrastructure. It's not really deeply ingrained in our culture to do this. It can almost feel really strange to be like, oh, I'm going to work on my brain. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. Well, maybe myself, but it's not as like culturally common to really take the time to really focus on our mindset and on creating pathways and ways of thinking that actually feel very deeply expansive and nurturing and help us grow. So we have to carve that path, and that might come a little bit at the beginning with some insecurity or feelings of like weirdness or awkwardness, but like fight through them. When I started going to the gym, like the literal physical gym, I was so intimidated by all of these like muscle men who were there, and my gym I go to is very male dominated, and it made me feel deeply uncomfortable to go there and make my space. I started working with a personal trainer actually recently to get comfortable being able to be there. And working with that trainer completely changed my confidence at the gym. And it's something I'm still working on, like full disclosure. I'm not suddenly like rocking into a gym being like, fuck yes, I own this place. I still feel that uncertainty sometimes, and I feel a bit awkward, but I'm learning to find my place, and I'm getting more comfortable in that practice and creating that same structure for my brain and for your brain is equally as important. Like sometimes we also do need support in finding these ways to help us show up for ourselves, to help us show up for our brain, which is wink, wink, what I'm here for if you do need that support. But you can also do this yourself, right? You can also get yourself to the gym and find that confidence day after day, showing up. And I want to give you that empowerment to know that you can also do that for yourself. So many times it's just about doing these practices that are good for our brain and crafting this and changing our mindset. So I want to do one more little exercise around us with like together by just being in the space, looking around us. And just to put it to practice. So, yeah, let's dive in. I want you to start to look around your space. I'm in my living room, so I'm just looking around my living room, wherever it is that you are, look around and find things that maybe just feel off place or cluttered, dirty, maybe little issues that you're like, oh, I should put that away, or this looks disorganized, this looks dirty. That's not perfect. As I look around, the more that I'm trying to find these things that are off, the more I see things that are off. Okay, now shut that. Turn it off, close your eyes maybe for a second, or just like reframe, take a deep exhale, and now start to look for beauty in your space. Things that feel really nice, intentional. Maybe you see a plant growing or a piece of art that you really like, something you're proud to have made. Really take the time to look at your space from a place of appreciation. Notice the things that are working. The things that do feel beautiful and expansive. The container that you've created for these things to grow, to express, to be. Maybe give it another look around. Notice any final things that you're just like, wow, that's beautiful. How lucky am I to have that in my space? To have created the space, to have put these things in it. Now, when we do this, what we realize is the room itself hasn't changed at all. But the lens through which we see our room does change, or our environment, not necessarily our room, wherever we are. That lens through which we're looking at it is what changes. And this is going back to that, are we looking for obstacles, or are we looking for opportunities? Are we looking for gratitude and really cultivating that gratitude? Or are we looking for nitty-gritty things that we need to fix? and feel bad about. Whatever we put our energy towards, we will wire more pathways for. And this is where choice comes in. When we find ourselves on these mental pathways that maybe we don't like, or we're like, why am I here? Why am I thinking these negative things? Like, why am I looking for all the things that are wrong? You can create that shift. You can slowly guide your focus and your direction and attention towards the things that are working, and the things that are working well, and the things that feel good. And then your brain will start looking for those automatically. When we start looking for opportunities, our brain starts to show us more opportunities. When we start looking for things that we're grateful for, our brain starts to show us more and more things that we are grateful for. And as we do that, we lower our heart rate, we increase our emotional regulation, we activate the motivation areas of our brain. Like, good things happen when we take the time to bring in these good things into our life. So use this as a reminder that you have the power to change and create your own reality. By really crafting and cultivating the power of your brain, you can change completely the lens with which you see your life. Change your brain. Change your life. You got this. I believe in you. You can cultivate and create a life of full expansion and love and celebration. So yeah, practice what you want to become, and you will become what you practice. Thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Laya. This is Love Notes from Laya. Please subscribe, send a comment, put 5 stars. If you would like to really support my work, you can also become a paying subscriber on Substack, and that really goes such a long way in helping me be able to keep showing up and share this and be with you all in my creative and academic work. So thank you for being here, for those who are subscribers. And if you would like to subscribe to help support me in my work, thank you. If you need support and you want some extra support, a little personal trainer for your gym, for your mental gym, you can always reach out to me. My website is www.layaalonso.com, and it's always found in the description below as well. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for being here. Mwah!